Hello, my name is Erika, and today is Sunday, the 29th of March, 2026. Here's the news and trending stories from the past week. Our lead story, Iran. The US-Israeli war against Iran continued into its fourth week. Both sides have begun the targeting of nuclear power generation stations. Israel struck outside the Bushehr nuclear power plant in Iran, while Iran hit scientist housing next to Israel's Dimona nuclear power station. More Iranian-aligned militias in the Middle East are beginning to engage in the fight. The Houthis in Yemen have joined in the conflict. However, their engagement has been limited to launching missiles towards Israel. They have not yet attempted to interfere with shipping traffic in the Red Sea. In Iraq, the Popular Mobilization Forces, an Iranian-supplied militia, continues to strike U.S. forces and bases. The U.S. has conducted airstrikes against PMF leadership. These strikes led to the Iraqi Prime Minister stating that the PMF has the right to defend itself. This effectively gives tacit government support to the militia to broaden the conflict. The U.S. is reportedly considering deploying an additional 10,000 ground combat troops to the Middle East. This would supplement the thousands of Marines already en route. Despite heavy bombardment, Iran is still able to strike at U.S. forces across the region. This includes hitting U.S. aircraft on the tarmac in a base in Saudi Arabia. Despite the conflict, Iran has more formally striking unilateral deals with various nations to allow their oil tankers through. Over a dozen ships have reportedly transited by diverting into Iranian waters for inspection before they safely transit the Strait of Hormuz. Now to other global stories. The Black Sea. Russian oil infrastructure and an oil tanker were struck by drone attacks, likely from Ukraine. Russia has been seeking to capitalize on the current energy crisis with its own oil exports, which helps fund its war in Ukraine. Moving on to the United States. Texas. A Valero oil refinery in Port Arthur suffered an explosion and fire this week. The refinery is currently shut down, pending an investigation into the causes that are still unknown. The facility normally processes up to 435,000 barrels of oil per day. Washington, D.C. The shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security continues. President Trump has stated he will sign an executive order declaring a national emergency to allow the government to pay TSA agents during the shutdown. Congressional Democrats continue to withhold funding from the department until their demands regarding changes to ICE are met. Unrelatedly, the Pentagon increased the maximum enlistment age to 42 from a previous 35. The move comes despite reports that the armed services had seen a surge in enlistments recently and had been able to meet their recruiting goals for the first time in several years. Florida. 2 Chinese nationals have been identified as suspects in the emplacement of an IED at MacDill Air Force Base. One has been arrested in the United States, while the other had returned already to China. Chicago. Wednesday night, a gathering of hundreds of teenagers became violent and led to the arrest of 8, as well as the implementation of a curfew. The gatherings have been attributed to the timing of spring break from school. Now to economics and finance. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the NASDAQ Composite Indices entered formal correction territory on Friday. Both benchmarks have fallen more than 10% from their highs over the last several weeks. Ending with culture and entertainment. Florida. Tiger Woods has been released from jail after an arrest for a DUI charge. Woods was involved in a rollover crash with another vehicle prior to his arrest. Neither party suffered significant injuries. Additionally, in reinforcing the Florida man stereotype, online influencer and looks maxer Clavicular was also arrested this week. Clavicular, whose real name is Braden Peters, was arrested on misdemeanor charges for battery and conspiracy to commit battery. This arrest is unrelated to a viral video from last week, in which Peters appears to fire numerous shots from a handgun into an alligator in the Everglades. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission says it is investigating that incident. That's the news and trending stories. I'm Erika from Sunday Nyte Live. See you Wednesday.